Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. The Mother's Board is here today. We are so thankful to be here. Hello, Dr. Mack.
Hello, Pastor Shirley.
We are here. We are here, and we're happy to be here with you today, everyone. So, Dr. Mack, would you like to do our prayer?
Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for all that you have done and all that you continue to do. We ask, Lord, that as we go through our session today, that we not be bigoted in any manner or obviously prejudiced in any manner, but Lord, let us just plant the seeds so that the people will look for themselves and see how things are. We ask that you use your wisdom to start the corrective process that's needed in many of these things. These and our many blessings we ask. Amen.
Uh, Amen. So, I'm just excited, as usual, about our discussion topics today, Dr. Mack. And so, we have several here, and I am just elated about them. So we want. Do you want to give greetings first, or are you okay?
Yeah, we're okay.
Okay, all right. So we have our questions, our discussion questions here, and I am just excited about. I
I'm
am
yours excited.
excited about them, and so our first one is: what do you believe the true purpose of the president's current international trip? What do you think? What do you believe is the true purpose of his current international trip?
Well, um, Pastor Shirley, I know that he said he was going to do some diplomatic things. You know, it's an international trip, but I have to think that it's gonna take care of some personal interests. Um, the Trump Family Foundation. You know, we have things that are going on, and we have situations wherein sometimes that little profit that you seek is just impossible to just pass it up. So I would hope that he gets a lot more diplomatic things. And I know every day he comes out and says, I made this deal and it's going to be jobs for Americans. But I also think you're making deals for the Trump family. Yeah, I just think that's happening. And I may be wrong, but I don't think so. What about you, Pastor?
I think he's there mainly for personal. That is mine because from his record that he's shown ever since we've heard of him and ever since he came on the public scene, as public as he is most of the time been about him. So, and them. So, I believe it might be more personal than what business
Then the
for us. Yeah,
state business. We
yeah.
can do personal business and we can do state business.
Official business for us.
Official.
Right, right. Like,
But he
hey,
showed us that this is what he does. And I have no problems with multitasking. You know, you and I do it all the time. Two and three
right,
things at one time.
right.
You know, then we have to, deal with what is constitutionally right. Um, and there are those who believe that we do need to rewrite the Constitution to make it fit the times. But I'm not sure about all that. It's been there a long time.
And it seems to be fitting the time. It seems to be fitting the time. And so what more can we do? What more can we do? Everything is there, it's plain, it's clear. We have specialists for people who cannot understand every word of it that can explain it to us. So, if like they say, maybe they think some things could be updated. I don't know. but it seems pretty clear in here as I was going through some of it today. I can
Mhm.
understand it. I really can. So hey, like I think some most of his reason for being there, he caught trying to do a twofold thing or like
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But I would think mostly from his record, I would say it would be mostly personal for his gain for his family. I'll put it like that. That's what I feel about it. So
Yeah.
I can't
It,
help but feel it because that's his record.
yeah. Well, I hope all goes well. I hope there are no, what do you call it, incidents of violence, in what,
Exactly.
when you're traveling like that, you want to make sure nothing bad happens. And I'm sure he has security up the yin yang. You would think that he would, but you
Right.
never know. Yeah.
So
My
things can happen.
my
But
grandfather was a hunter, and he'd say, "Well, if you're really out there to like kill a squirrel or whatever, well, those who are animal rights,
um,
we didn't just kill the squirrel, we ate the squirrel. But um, if you're determined to get it done, you get it done. You know.
right.
But
Right.
I agree with you.
No no waste like you talk about the squirrel. We don't just kill it and just throw it away. We just take it. It is for nourishment,
Right,
not just for sport like some people do.
right, and
Hmm.
even the fur of the squirrel was used for winter clothing, so
Exactly. Yes.
there was no waste.
Yes,
There was
that's so true. Thank you.
but I
Yeah.
agree with you wholeheartedly.
Oh,
There is a dual purpose,
oh yes,
and I
yes.
don't know if one supersedes the other, but um, there's a purpose.
Oh, of course. Of course. So, do you agree next, do you agree with the birthright amendment that is currently before the Supreme Court?
Hmm. Pastor Shirley, what do you think about that?
The birthright amendment, as it is, that if your even if your parents are not citizens, if you are born over
Here.
here in the United States, then you are a citizen.
Hmm.
And so he's trying to change that, and it should not be changed. I don't. It should not be changed. Not to go back, and then it should not be changed.
Yeah, but even with what he's doing, he's saying that these illegals, and there are people who pay to come to the United States to give birth, because the United States is one of the countries that does have dual citizenship. It
Right.
does have dual citizenship.
Right.
I don't have to give up my U.S. citizenship. If I want to move somewhere else, I'm able to keep it, which I think
Exactly.
is a gift, is a gift.
Uh huh.
But we have come through this season of what is called anchor babies, which I found very, there were two terms about children that upset me. One was anchor babies and the other was crack babies. But the anchor babies, you know, through whatever was being said on whatever medium it was being said, it
Mhm.
was a way to stay in the United States even if you were undocumented.
Mhm.
But the way it's being, well, we will just have to really wait and see if the Supreme Court's going to change the interpretation of,
Right.
let's just call them children of undocumented,
Mhm.
that anchor baby, because I worked in an area of the city where
Mhm.
young men would have three and four children, not a wife, not
Mhm.
even really a girlfriend, but the way it was being interpreted at the time, the more children you had, the more rights you had to stay here to try to take care of them, and you
Okay.
know. But it's gonna be interesting when June comes to hear what
Mhm.
they rule and why they rule.
Yep. And like I agree with it as it is,
Yeah.
and then I do know that people take advantage of it.
Yes.
But hey, everybody takes advantage of something every now and then. So hey, just like they say they take advantage of using this, then we take advantage of something else. So I just hope, you know, I agree with. I hope the Supreme Court lets well enough alone. But
But
who? goes.
You can tell it's getting heated because the Chief Justice is having to admonish several of the justices, like Sotomayor and these others, who are like, can't you read it? This is what is stated in the Constitution. Because all of those persons are supposed to be constitutional lawyers or have a great deal of
Yep,
knowledge.
yep,
Yeah, but we have to be careful when we go back to pick up laws from 1800 or
right,
1700. You know, there was a reason it was written that way.
exactly,
Again, there's a reason, you know.
exactly. But I tell you, but the way things are going now, I mean, they need to. How do they do? Pull his coattail. His coattail needs to be pulled.
So that he
And,
can sit down.
oh my goodness! And even I tell you, it's something. But we're getting through it. We will be all right. We are
Yes,
all right. I'll put it like that. We are all right. Yes, we are. And I'm happy that we're in a country where we have the privileges that we do have. And I know
yes,
everything is not fair and everything is not right, but we are quite a long way from where we were as a people, as our story tells us. So, hey,
and let's remember it could be a lot worse.
it could be it
And
like they're
let's
trying
remember,
to revert back to the older times now. That's the problem with this guy doing all of this, trying to do away with the birthright amendment and all of that. So, he's trying to go backwards and trying to reestablish supremacy.
yet,
Uh
yeah,
huh. Uh huh.
yeah. And not we spoke earlier about the gifts. Well, there's an amendment clause in the Constitution that says what cannot be accepted. You can't take
Exactly.
these
And
kinds of gifts
that's
from a
our third
country
one.
or
We're
a tribe.
we're
Oh, I'm
going.
sorry.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
going to. That's the third one.
okay.
Uh
I'm
huh.
sorry. I'll let you
Go ahead.
read.
You can go ahead and read it.
Oops. I have to
Oh, okay. Okay. I'll get it.
thank you.
Emolument clause was written into the Constitution to prevent taking of personal gifts that would become bargaining chips from the favorable status countries. Do you believe that the gift of the Flying Palace falls in that category as an unacceptable gift by the president? Yes. Oh,
No, I'm
Def-
waiting for you.
definitely. Of course, it does fall in that category, and it is very plain in that section of the Constitution. It's plainly and simply outlined in there. It's plainly and simply outlined, and I made sure that I got that and kept it up here because it's just ridiculous, and it should not be. They're going to have to spend our money going through that thing, and I just hope they don't let him do it. But what is the emoluments clause? Is the called the foreign emoluments clause? Is a provision of the U.S. Constitution,
Mhm.
Article 1, Section 9,
Wow.
Paragraph 8, that generally prohibits federal office holders from receiving any gift, any payment, and let me get on over to this, etc. Let me go ahead. Article 1, Section 9, Paragraph 8 generally prohibits federal office holders from receiving any gift, any payment, or other object or service of value from a foreign state or its rulers, officers, or representatives. The clause provides that, and here we go, no title of
Hmm.
nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without, here we go, the consent of the Congress.
Congress.
And that's what these orders that the guy is signing and all these executive orders, they're supposed to go through the
Through
Congress.
Congress. It's
They are
just an
supposed,
order. It's not even a law,
it's
but
not, but they're
it's
treating it like it is and letting these things go through without even Congress even considering doing anything. They might be considering it, but they're just letting it go through, and he's just doing what he calls his thing. So it says shall, without the consent of the Congress, accept any present in emolument, office, or title of any kind whatever from any king, prince, or foreign state.
and isn't this a king who is offering
I'm
it?
telling you,
Come on.
yeah, it's forbidden. It is forbidden. And then they're saying earlier they said that even if, because the thing that they're talking about, I was thinking it when I even heard them start talking about it. There could be hidden cameras all over that place. It would take them for a long time to find every one of those if they had cameras in there, if they had something set up for the spy, you
Mm-hmm.
know, instruments or anything like that. And so what they're going to have to do, they say,
Strip it
is
down.
yes. And so what's the sense of it? What sense does it make? Strip it down, spend the taxpayers' money, and then they say even by the time he's out of office, they still might not be finished with it. So he still might not get to use it if they let him accept it.
Well, I think he's acting like he does not need the approval of Congress to accept it. You
Well,
know, the,
right.
originally his statement was like, it's a gift. This is a gift, and you'd be foolish not to take it. But what it tells me more than anything else is about his character. You ordered Air Force Ones, you know, uh, during your first term.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we had the virus, and
Mm-hmm.
we've had other issues that were have delayed. So what does it say that you have to have a just because this $400 million plane is being offered to you? What's wrong with the Air Force One that you have? Well, it breaks down and it's pretty old. Well, this plane that's being offered to you is
It's
13
old.
years old. 13.
Yes.
You know, what it tells me is that you are that same little spoiled rich boy. I didn't get what I wanted from my dad, that I got a favorite uncle or aunt out there that I'll ask, and they're going to give it to me through the back door. But we're all looking at this back door. We don't want you to have this thing. You know, 'cause when people give you something like that, if I had, I promise, Pastor Shirley, I would give it to you. But the truth is, I don't have it. But I want to believe that I would uphold the laws of your land.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he's a rich king, and you're doing business with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Trump Family Foundation, not only the President of the United States, uh, just because it's offered, you said some people don't understand why I won't take it. Why won't you take a gift? That gift is too. Sometimes gifts are too much. You have to back up and say, "This is too much." If someone came and offered you a brand new car today, and you weren't quite sure what strings were applied, knowing you as I do, you would be a little suspicious. A
Not
lot suspicious.
yes, 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 ma'am. And then also, if he has, like I said, he has to go through Congress,
Yes.
and if Congress will give him permission, then he can accept it. But then, what the past people who have been offered gifts and have accepted gifts, they told the people, okay, I have to get permission from Congress,
Yeah.
or else I can't take it. But I will go to Congress and see if I can take it. But if I can't, it's because they didn't give me permission. And if I do, it's because they gave me permission, special permission to accept the gift. but it has to go through Congress. But a gift like that, no way.
Well, not only that, he wants it as his Air Force One, then he wants it to go to his presidential library.
Library.
And you know what? It
Just a
is
waste of space.
well, that still keeps it as his. It doesn't belong to the Defense Department.
Mhm.
It becomes his private his private
Mhm.
plane at this point. This is not like the cherry blossom trees that were given to us by the Japanese. The whole anybody going to DC can enjoy that in the spring, and it's beautiful. It smells good, and there was no problem with that.
Right.
But this is not the same.
It is definitely not the same, not at all. And so I hope they don't let him. But if he does get it, turn that into the library.
No, yeah, this really is a maybe second time he's mentioned his presidential library.
Uh-huh.
You know, where will it be? There's, they look in Florida, New York, where, but neither here nor there. This is too much. You
It
know,
is
it's
definitely,
too much.
definitely too much. And
Dem,
so they should not let him accept it.
speak up, Dems. You're there. You can't have that. Oh, when my son sold a painting for $50,000, they wanted to hang him by his toenails. And he wasn't the president. It was his personal painting to sell.
It's pitiful. It is pitiful. So, are we ready to? Okie dokie. In your opinion, is there an international political state visit by the President of the United States or personal business, a Trump family business? Okay, we kind of did that already.
Yes.
Uh, and I put mostly personal. So,
We're
so
good.
did you want to say some more about it?
No.
Okay. The 89th state legislature is almost over. What pending bill would you like to see signed before the end of the session? Okay. Now I'll let you go first.
Okay.
I
Well,
mean, I will, please go.
that's okay. Um, if they do nothing else, and they've done a lot, I would like to see the teacher pay raise go through.
Hmm.
I truly would. And you've really left it to the end where it becomes a sort of dangling situation. The legislature will be over at the end of this month.
Hmm.
And I know they're calling for special sessions in Austin, but that should have been on the front burner. We have, it's so much schools are asked to do, but
Hmm.
in some way you need to say thank you to those persons who are in the classroom, in the cafeterias,
Hmm.
um, taking care of the crossing and everything of the kids in the morning. You need to give them a raise. You say you have all this excess money, put it where your mouth is. Give
Right.
people a raise.
Right. And especially since you're closing, so many schools are closing here in Texas. So there's some money that doesn't have to go to those schools.
That's true.
So,
18 in Fort Worth. That
yes,
that
ma'am.
shocked me. I mean, I know they had to do some, but 18.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I'm telling you, though, anyway, mine. I said no, none pending, but the teacher pay raise, I do agree with that. But I would like for them to add some. Number one, that Abbott is serving his last possible term as governor. That's
Mm,
number one. And number two, that all of the felons and corrupt people that hold offices in our government will be dismissed from their office slash
mm,
positions
not gonna
and never again
happen.
be allowed to hold public or private offices. That is what I'd like to see put on the agenda.
Won't happen. The ones trying to put it on there are the ones you're describing.
They will be considered as the lawless ones. But anyway, that's what I would like to see happen. that they would, his term, this would be his last term. Okay. And Heather, I don't want anything foul or anything bad to happen to him. I just want him
No,
out of office.
no.
I want someone in there that's fair, honest, and that has everybody at takes them to
Interest,
heart.
right.
Their interest, yes, that's what I want. And so we know with these other people that we've seen that they have their own agendas, their own party agendas, their own personal agendas, and it's my way or no way at all. And they're trying to prove that to us.
They are doing it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, did you want to elaborate?
No,
Oh, you
no,
said
that was that one.
okay.
If you just do that, because you keep talking about a teacher shortage, a teacher shortage. What's up?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you apply, some districts have residency clause. You have to
Mm-hmm.
live in that district in order to work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you just need, everyone's gonna need some help here coming up soon. I
Right.
think.
Right.
What is it? We're all gonna climb the rough side of the mountain. We all,
Some
you
of
know.
us have already been there. We're waiting on the others to get to the top,
Oh, I love it. I truly
so
love
we
it.
can slide on down the hill with ease
We're gonna,
together.
we're gonna have a smooth face on the other
Hey.
side. We're all going down.
Yes, ma'am. Together, down at ease, because we made it to the top. The rough. We've come up the rough side. Now we're going to go down the
Yeah, I'm
easy
doing my
side.
best to make it.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, that's so good. These are good, Dr. Mac.
That's good.
Okay, now number 6. The governor has been vocal, passing legislature against foreign countries acquiring property in Texas. So, in some cases, large blocks of property near military bases. So, do you agree or disagree with his position? I totally agree with his position. I've thought it. I've thought it. I said, nobody, they should not be able to, foreign uh, people should not be able to own property in the United States. I've thought
They
that
do.
for years and years. They own the United States just about. China, Japan,
Yep.
they
Yep.
own big parts, big chunks of the
Hmm.
United States. That's why he's so eager. And they say China took a 10%. They went down to 10%, and America went down to 30% on the tariffs.
Yeah.
But we don't know whether China went down that far or not.
I don't think so.
Right, exactly, because they own so much of America, and America is so indebted to China. And as a matter of fact, they say China is second to Japan. I think we owe Japan, according to the piece that I read for one of our webcasts, Japan is first. We owe them more, and then China second.
Yeah. Well, I
Hmm.
agree with you wholeheartedly,
Yes.
especially near the bases. But it's
Hmm.
taken them a minute or two to understand that that's what was happening. But they talk about the little agricultural farmers and the like.
Hmm.
Well,
Hmm.
they have been put out of business by combines that like Green Lake. Using them for an example. I'm not
Hmm.
saying they
Right. Okay.
they bought up all this land, you
Hmm.
know, and if I'm trying to farm, uh, what is snap beans or whatever, I
Hmm.
can't compete with these large companies who are foreign countries. I wouldn't
Hmm.
have wanted it for American companies, but I truly don't want it for foreign companies. Why in the
Hmm.
heck are we buying lumber from Canada and we have all these trees standing in the United States? North Louisiana is beautiful, with all those tall trees. And if you go through, many of those small towns have died or are dying because the
Hmm.
sawmills have been closed.
Right.
Not yesterday, but for years.
For years. That's right.
You close them so that we would be buying stuff from Canada, and I'm going.
Yes.
Makes no sense, but it's
Right.
political. I agree. Now that's one thing Abbott has done that I agree
Yeah. He better be listening. Man,
with.
this is one in a million for both
Yes,
of
for us
us.
and for
For
us.
us.
It's not gonna happen again, bro. But this one we agree with you on.
We agree wholeheartedly.
And
Yes.
they own large blocks of
Oh,
grazing
yes,
land
ma'am.
and stuff. But what the Khrushchev said in the early mid 70s, I mean 60s, you know,
Hmm.
that the Americans would eventually sail the rope that hangs them on. You know, with in other words, he implied we're so capitalistic, we're so money hungry, you know,
Hmm.
and we're living back through that age right now.
Oh, yes. Yes, ma'am. So true. All right. Number 7. If you were in a position to advise the members uh, of Dallas City Council regarding activities for the youth this summer, what would be your first and second suggestion?
Mm.
Is it my time or yours?
It's yours.
Okay. Now this is what I thought about first. Plenty of my suggestion would be to have plenty of food, and I know they have snacks and drinks and things, but have plenty food, drinks, safe and cool shelters,
Hmm.
along with properly slash fully vetted and overseen overseers for the activities. So have somebody watching the watcher that
Yes.
are over these children, because these people sneak into these positions. And before you know it, we're hearing about it on the news when it should have been avoided. I know we can't catch everything, but we need to take more precautionary measures to prevent so many things. And I am really, I mentioned before, when it comes to children, that is a touchy, touchy, touchy thing for me. Touchy with anybody, really, but children and elderly, they can't protect themselves. And here I am talking about elderly. One day I done made it. But anyway, can protect themselves like they used to be able to, or like they should. The children haven't grown up. The elderly are getting sometimes weaker. So I'm very concerned about this, so that they have an overseer for the overseers.
Yeah, a watcher for the watchers. It's a
Yes,
lovely
ma'am.
way to put it.
Yes, ma'am.
An absolute lovely way. Well, I agree with you. And I put under number three, I
Mm-hmm.
would do advanced planning. It's too
Mm-hmm.
late to say what you would do now. You should
Right.
have done that advanced planning back in January,
Mm-hmm.
December, January. Do advanced planning so you can fund that, as you have said, to get the watchers for the watchers,
Mm-hmm.
and to make sure that it's a safe summer for them, even though it's going to be a hot summer.
Yes.
That was my first thing. And the
Mm-hmm.
second thing that I that I would have suggested is that this is the time, a good time, to work on this community policing
Mm-hmm.
that the new chief talked about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, while they're out, talk to them, get to know them. Those youngsters can tell you more about what's going on in the streets than the folks in the street.
Yes.
So
Yes.
get get them to that safety you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Get them to a place where they can feel like I can say what I need to say and
Mm-hmm.
still be safe. And I
Right.
do. We both will send prayers up to the youngsters who were killed at against the Keystone Saturday. You
Mm-hmm.
know how they were preparing for the baby shower and the
Mm-hmm.
guy on the motorcycle, and also for the homeless lady who helped homeless people who were shot by the 15-year-old. Although
So
they didn't
much.
capture him, make it a safe environment for the kids in the summer. Treat
Exactly.
treat them like they're in Trophy Club of the colony. They're that
Right.
precious to us. That
Right.
precious.
And another thing I just thought about is, like I said, have plenty of food, plenty of water, and drinks, and for the children. And then Dallas has some money. We know we have money here in Dallas. We have money that they're keeping locked up somewhere, not using that money. We know that because it's been reported. So take that money and like I said, fix plenty of food, but fix some extra food so that the children will have some to take home.
Yes.
Because sometimes the children, that's all they get is what they get when they come out to these public gatherings and these activities. So just, enough for them to have some food to take home. Because
And the locations for the distribution of the food should be in a safe area. Uh,
exactly.
Also with watchers. I do love
Uh-huh.
that. Watchers for the watchers.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And
Yes,
the
ma'am.
younger ones who are not at those morning programs and activities, they do need food too. So you're right.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah, that sort of take it, make sure they're able to get their younger brother. But they do it anyway. That's one of those beautiful things that you see in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
They will ask for an extra bag or they will
Mm-hmm.
ask for extra fruit,
Mm-hmm.
and if you say, well, why do you need it? And they'll say, well, take it home for my little brother or my little sister, or my little cousin who's staying with us.
Mm-hmm.
Our children are good children. They have good souls, really good souls.
And they do what they can to survive. And
That's
I
right.
tell you, they do the best that they can. So why don't we help them out? All right, wonderful. Okay, what Texan will chair the president's new commission on religious liberty. So anyway, we
Yeah.
know who that is.
Who is it?
That guy named Dan Patrick.
And I laughed. I said, and this the same guy that was in trouble last year, isn't it?
I'm telling you,
Come on.
they reward the
And his
uh,
mistress didn't even testify for him. Come on. I don't know,
Lord
Shirley.
have so Governor Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick has been
Mm-hmm.
appointed as head of the Presidential Religious Liberty Commission. It includes clergy, legal experts, and members from different religious backgrounds. And from what it's saying that he's doing, he's trying to protect the Christians from discrimination. Now, it sounds good, but there's always an ulterior motive. So if you let them in the door, they're going to want to go through the house.
There you go. There you go.
And when you get them into the house and they go through the house, they're going to try to take over the house.
They're not
So
going to do
it sounds good, but there are always motives, especially when we know of the experiences we've had with people, certain people.
And there are those out there, there have been many articles written about why do we need this commission? And here again, we feel that many of those sources say that he's repaying the National Christian, movement for their vote, for
Hmm.
their support.
Hmm.
Um, because there, many of the others will say, we don't have a problem. We don't have any churches being, burned and situations like that. That's not us. But you made that promise. So you have your commission. You have your commission. But look
Where
here, Dan Patrick and religion on the same breath. It should be between Patrick and his God, because we know some stuff. We went through it weeks and weeks and weeks.
and they're talking about protecting the Christians. God takes care of
Of
us.
us.
And
That's
so
what
he
we do.
takes care of them while they call themselves taking care of us. And then they don't even, I don't know. Anyway, God knows their hearts and their minds, but then we have to really, really be careful so people don't let them come in and start having freedom in the congregations. I guarantee you will be regretful.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
And then,
Okay.
then let's take a look at the fact that ICE can come into a church
Exactly.
and remove an undocumented person
We're
or
supposed to
someone
be
who's accused of being undocumented.
a safe haven, but not anymore.
That's right.
So,
Sanctuary.
so that should count too, to keep them from coming into the
Right.
building. But hey, see, there, all this stuff is just something to it's really something to get our attention when they're really focusing on something else.
Something else. We all
That's
agree and we all know that, you
yes,
know,
ma'am. Yes,
and
ma'am.
especially those members of the Mothers Board, we've lived long enough to see how this thing works.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Okay, Dr. Mack, these are good. So, why do you believe flag football is one of the fastest growing sports in the world? And
Well,
yeah.
well, because first of all, it has been played for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's been played in elementary schools and middle schools, but
Mm-hmm.
now it's being moved on up to the collegiate level, and it's part of the 2028 Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dallas, we're all excited that it's going in that direction,
Mm-hmm.
and it's sort of like soccer. It doesn't require a lot of equipment. And
It's yes.
the leagues and things are pretty much already formed. They just don't have formal names, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
game almost every person, regardless of many of the disabilities, can actually play. It's international for
Mm-hmm.
the other thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it's good, and it's not going to interfere with NFL tackle football. This is flag football.
And my thing is it's safer. That's the key point. It's supposed to be safer.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Supposed to be safer. And I thought we had flag football in the last Olympics. I thought.
I'm not sure. We
Me
had.
either.
I'm not sure. Um,
But anyway,
but it's coming in the next one. We know.
okie dokie. All right. Next. Are you happy slash excited about the election of the new Pope? Why or why not? Ooh, I am excited. I was so excited because I said, I don't believe it's going to take a long time. I said, I know it's not going to take, it shouldn't take more than 4 days. I was thinking like 2 days.
You
And
were right.
sure enough, they came out. And then when I saw that picture, people are saying that he's got some of us in him. But anyway, when I saw the picture of him and his brothers and the one in the middle, I saw that hair. I said, oh, okay. Uh-huh. So anyway, I'm excited about it. I'm just probably just excited as the Catholic movement because the Pope is the most
Yeah.
powerful
Yes.
religious leader in the world.
And
He
we
is.
did. Then we had to have the person in the White House go do that AI picture, which I found totally disrespectful. I did. I found it disrespectful, but come on,
And
you
then
know.
the color of his suit, the only one up there looking like an oddball, and even the wife knew to wear black.
Well, it's a solemn occasion. We are taught from when we can understand, like death,
And,
funeral.
and before you go anywhere, especially to that occasion, while that's going on, you should always check. And I'm pretty sure they probably did. I'm sure they did because the people should be up on it. But we know his personality, we know his mindset. I'm going to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
We've
No
come
matter
full
what
circle
it
today. We have come full circle in the
is.
U.S. right now.
Yeah.
But I want,
So, did you get to say anything about that? I was so.
no, I agree with you. I was totally excited, and I I have to tell you that when you come off the main street and head down into Vatican City, there's a different kind of feeling. You know, um,
Hmm.
something else is at work down there, and
Uh-huh.
as you walk or as you ride around, you know,
Hmm.
around the major building, and
Uh-huh.
when you leave it, you feel like, okay, I've had an experience here that's a good experience.
It's
Okay,
different, isn't it?
it's definitely
So
different.
everybody, so you've been there.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
that is so good. Dr. Max been there, everybody.
But I just hope all is well, and he wants to. and that Pope Leo wants to do, has help in doing the things that he feel are right. He's not. I was so happy when he walked out on the balcony. I didn't see all that gold and all that stuff dripping.
Oh
Oh
my
my,
goodness.
Pope Francis again.
So
Well,
exciting.
very, very modestly dressed,
Yes,
uh,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
And the fact that he's an Augustinian, which, you know, not a Jesuit, but it's just exciting to have another person who wants to do something for everyone.
Right, and the American too. But I was thinking because they called this Dallas, the Dallas priest from this diocese down here to go to the Vatican
Yeah,
and what is it, ramrod the
yeah,
whole
yes.
funeral
Mhm.
service, and I'm thinking, hey, it could be him. And that was even before, but that was my mode of thinking because if they called him up there and he was giving instructions and making sure everything was right, hey, he was qualified
Oh, yeah.
to run the whole show. And so I was thinking maybe they'll do Man in Dallas. But then when I saw and they said an American Pope, I was thinking first it might be him. And then when they said from Chicago, I'm just as happy. So I'm just as
Yeah,
happy.
love and respect between the cities. I have to go with the majority of the people, and I said to myself, not an American, because we are not. We're really at this point the ugly Americans, 'cause we do ugly stuff in other countries and to other countries. Um, but I just someone who's gonna to to think in terms of everyone, not
Yes,
every now and then, but just everyone.
right,
And that's
right,
what we want. I know we're not ready for
exactly.
Star Trek Federation, but I do want to try.
But we're all right. Okay. Do you think that the majority of Mavericks fans will reclaim a positive attitude because of the recent 2025 number one draft pick status?
You go first.
Maybe some of them will come around eventually. And I know they were probably excited, but those people were genuinely upset.
Yeah.
Genuinely upset. It's going to take some of them a while to come around. Now they'll go ahead and support the team and everything, but I believe it's going to take a while. And some of them won't ever come back to, you know, fully uh, caring for them like they did before.
Well,
I don't
I, I,
think.
I think I agree with you that some, you've lost some, but you're also going to gain some.
Exactly.
The thing about sports is that it's not like politics. Once you get into the games and with the schedules being released, you took the Cowboys and the Wings with the number one draft choice,
Hmm.
or the Mavericks number one draft choice. It's gonna, I think the city will survive, but what we have
Oh,
to
of
do
course. Yeah.
not blame, because sometimes we don't know the workings behind the scene, and they don't release the workings behind the scene,
Right.
but there are things going on that we are not aware of.
Right.
Yeah.
And hey, and the man would not have been able to make this the
Thank you.
decision if
Thank
he was not approved and if he was not told and pushed to do it. He's just a front man that they put out front. But that decision was made way
you.
down before it got to him.
I agree with that, and
Yes, ma'am.
it annoys me when people forget that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we're all working for somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to have approval. You know,
Exactly.
even if that approval is like some of the cabinet members who were appointed, the time you're scratching your head and you're going, why him? Why her? You know, and you still don't get an answer, but there's a reason for it.
Right.
There's a reason for it.
Exactly. Oh, so we've had a wonderful day, Dr. Mack, and our discussions are really, really great. And I am so glad that we have completed
Really?
another sport.
Wow.
Yes, we are finished, and it's been such a privilege. So, would you like to have some closing remarks and announcements?
Well, I'll do the announcement first. Please
Okay.
join me for Wednesday at 1 p.m. for From the Biblical Files of Dr. Mack. We are in the New Testament. We are looking at the epistle that Paul sent to Titus in the book of Titus. So we'll be looking at women in the Bible, and we'll be looking at blacks in the Bible. And um, the thing that we will also want to point out is that it is summer and it is hot. So love your neighbor enough, or that lady down the street, or that old man across the street, enough to walk over and knock on the door and just say, "Are you okay? Do you need some water? You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, did your dog get out or something like that?" Because
Mm-hmm.
older people love their pets just like children. I mean,
Right.
they're very important to them. So
Exactly.
it's just take care of one another and pray for wisdom as you go, because some of the stuff that comes up, you go, oh no. Here
And
we have
patience and
lots of patience. What
and
is it?
understanding.
The person in charge of our health is getting in the water at Rock Creek Park. Come on. And you put your grandchildren in water that has E. coli in it. So how can I listen to you tell me something about my health? These are your grandchildren. You're putting in filthy water. So I don't mean to sound like a true old mother on the board, but truly, truly, I
Oh
want to know
yeah.
what you think of my health situation. Because I wouldn't put somebody I dislike in Rock Creek
I
Park.
wouldn't
It's
let
beautiful
fresh get
water.
in there either. The fresh
It's
wouldn't get in
nasty.
there. Not
Isn't
my freshy pool.
it?
And Sylvester said, no, no.
Uh-uh. No, 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 no. And he was in the water. I'm like, you are 100 years old and you know better. No wonder you can't say, take care of your kid when he's sick.
I tell you, life. I tell you, we see some humorous things. We see
Yes.
some of all of it. So we have a variety. We might be laughing now and frowning in a few seconds and crying a few more seconds and laughing again. That's life. That's life. So I'm just so happy to be here with you again, Dr. Mack, and looking forward to tomorrow at 7:39 p.m., which is Saturday. And
Mhm.
even though some people might be watching this on a different day of the week, but on Saturdays at 7:39 p.m. and on Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. is Greater Gospel Temple Church of Praise and Worship and Inspiration of God Ministries. So you join us then, and if you don't get to join us live, just like if you don't get to join Dr. Mack live, you can always go back and watch those webcasts. So
Thank
you
you.
have a privilege to do that. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays is Point of View with Ms. Shirley Polk. So happy to be before you today, and we pray and trust that whatever time it is that you're watching this, that this day, night, evening, afternoon, midday, morning, whichever it is a great one for you. And until next time, Dr. Mack, you want to sign us out?
Until we meet again,
Till we
until we experience the blessings of our Holy Father. May God bless and keep you. Amen.
see you later. Like Sheree, what is her name? Sheree Morgan say, later, Gator. I like her. I like her. And I found out that she's in the military.
Wow.
Yes. Okay, gotta go. See you,
Bye bye.
everybody. Okay.